cue morning ritual coffee, or for me green tea. I only stand coffee about 3 days out of the whole chemo cycle. It's usually right towards the end before I get chemo again. I'll have coffee for 1 or 2 days prior to that when I'm feeling my normal self, but other than that I steer clear of it and go the green tea. But the great news is we're down here at our usual spot and there's no dead bodies anywhere. That's a plus. So what an amazing day, and there's no one lying over there that people are just walking over like they were last time in the park. So we haven't seen any news or updates or anything anywhere about.
Must have been a very important person.
That's not very nice.
Well, usually
it's just, I mean, I guess people die every day and nobody ever hears about it. But even in our local news or anything, haven't heard anything. Our Facebook group pages, nothing. So maybe there's a slight glimmer of a chance that he did survive, but it didn't really look like it, unfortunately. So, but it's nice to enjoy our coffee without that sight, that's for sure. Day 1 after chemo round 3.
Oh, we're gonna fuel.
We're gonna run out of fuel, and guess where I am not? I'm not in the hospital. Winning! So I didn't have the fever reaction this time, and probably because they took precautionary measures and they sort of dosed me up with a bit of paracetamol before the infusion and then right at the end of the infusion as well, and also might contribute it to this natural therapy that I'm doing at the same time with this lady that we call the witch doctor, because she does things to your body in this therapy that is kind of strange. It's very subtle and it always seems to balance your body, and everything you do with her lines up with blood tests you get. It's just it's a crazy weird treatment that it seems really effective. I won't go into too much detail about it because she's requested that I not share too many details about it because it's a profession that she's built over, you know, decades. So Courtney is going to go see her this morning as well, because Courtney works on emotional stuff with her, and she always goes on these days because I'm in hospital usually, so she can go and deal with the emotion of that, of me being in hospital. But today
I don't need her.
She doesn't need her. She's gonna go see her anyway, just to keep herself in check. But I'm not in hospital, and I finally had the chance to do a video of what day 1 is like after chemo, because I don't actually feel that bad, because they dose you up with heaps of steroids. So they give you pre-meds, so they give me a steroid tablet before treatment. They give me an injection infusion of steroids as well before the treatment, and they give you the treatment. And then when I go to hospital, I don't feel too bad when I'm in hospital, and I always sort of maybe thought I put it down to the fact that I'm on an IV drip all the time, so I'm well hydrated. But now that I'm home, I know that I'm not feeling that bad either. So I got a real good sleep last night. They instructed I take paracetamol.
Oh no, the fridge.
Oh, this fridge is about to fall off the back of this car.
Fridge is open, mate.
That was scary. Look, I was gonna fall.
Why do we make
so
shit?
I had a real good sleep, thank God. But so day 1, how that usually looks for me is in hospital. So just to let you know, the perception of chemo is like you get these drugs infused, and it's obviously different for everybody because I've had different stories, but you get the drugs infused. A lot of people, even I've heard, start throwing up in the process of getting infusions. That hasn't been the case with me. I always feel fine, other than when I get that little fever towards the end, depending on what the drug is. Yesterday that didn't happen. I did feel a bit ordinary by the end of it. Like I just sort of feel a bit spaced out, like I'm not really there, feel a little bit queasy. And that's how I feel today. And last night I felt a little bit queasy. I feel a bit queasy now. So they give me steroid tablets to take the day after, which is today. So I take 2 today, then I take 2 tomorrow. So those are sort of the major, well, the half-life of the chemo drugs for the next 48 hours is going on in the body. It's kind of assisting you, the steroids, with nausea and trying to keep your appetite. So they're really on top of it these days as far as how sick it makes you, because obviously they don't want to make you sick, but you get sick. So days 1 and 2 usually like this for me. When I'm in hospital, I feel pretty good, but I'm home now for once, and I don't feel too bad, so I'm going out to Courtney's appointment with her. But the other thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to go grab some ingredients, because with my disease I have swelling in my nodes from my neck down through, I've got all my chest wall, and then underneath my arm here where I had the biopsy, and that swelling goes up and down with the chemo obviously, and what you want it to do is go down completely. But Hodgkin's lymphoma is a very inflammatory disease, so even if you have like just a few of the mutated cells in that particular node and area, there's inflammatory B and T cells that surround it, which create the swelling. So I asked the oncologist yesterday, I said, is this swelling coming up and down a sign of whether the chemo is working? Is it something to be concerned about? Because I have the treatment option of escalating the treatment, they call it, where I go into a more toxic chemotherapy, which we're hoping I don't have to do because it means more hospital time. I have to do the chemo, that new chemo as an inpatient. Then the first week after the infusion, I have to be in hospital 3 days a week for blood transfusions and neutropenic reasons. And then the second week I need to have 1 visit, and then the third week they leave me alone, and the infusions every 3rd week. So we're hoping we don't have to go down that route. But what I'm going to do as far as this inflammation process goes, I'm going to make up an anti-inflammatory cancer fighting balm today while I feel good enough. How it usually tracks is day 1 and 2 don't feel too bad. By day 3 I start feeling pretty queasy and crappy. The bad taste in my mouth comes, the reflux comes, then by day 4, 5 I'm pretty terrible those days. Then day 6 I start to feel better. That's how the first 2 have tracked, and now this is the 3rd one, so we see how that goes. So I'll show what ingredients going to get what I believe is a good anti-cancer balm, and we'll make it up, and you can check in if you want and watch. Now we're finally on our way to finish off getting some of the ingredients that I want for making a balm, an anti-inflammatory balm. We went into a shop earlier and picked up a few different ingredients left here, and yeah, I got super overwhelmed and excited about being in the shop because they always have so much cool stuff in their biome stores. So then we both got a little bit tired and had to go home for a little bit and had some lunch, and one of my amazing sisters came round and helped us cook lunch, and she made me some fruit jelly things I can have for when I don't feel so well, and she helped clean the kitchen and do all dishes that we had left over and stuff. So thank you for that, Christy. Really helped us out today. Seems like we got a lot done, had a bit of a rest. Now I'm on my way to go grab some essential oils for this balm, and I'm not sure if I'll muster up the energy to make it today. If not, it'll be definitely tomorrow, and I'll just whip that up and show you some parts of it, and I'll let you know how effective it is in an anti-inflammatory sense. I'm going to just start applying it topically to the node areas, because why not? See if we can reduce some inflammation in those areas naturally. And I wanted to try and get it all done in these first 2 days while I'm on the steroids, because that's kind of when I feel okay right after chemo. So if I don't get it kind of done in this time window, then we're probably looking at about 6-7 days until I can do it. But I'm also not going to pressure myself to do it. It's the thing learning about staying calm, not putting pressure on yourself. Our baby boy's been kicking a lot since last night. Kept Courtney awake all night. I slept like a log. She rolled around awake all night. Good signs of a healthy baby though. Alright, let's go grab these oils and move on to the next phase in the process. I wasn't even recording. It's gonna be my first big shopping centre experience since I started chemo, other than IKEA. Have to wear my mask again. I've got a new, I'll show you when I put it on. My best mate Georgie Porgy bought me these masks from Japan. Apparently they're state-of-the-art public protection that everybody uses in Japan. Thanks George. Giving it a whirl today for the first time.
Pretty sure I just broke my nail doing that.
You what?
Just broke my nail.
You broke a nail.
Yeah, I just pressed that button, but pressed it like a dickhead and broke my nail.
You're right.
You're right.
What do you think, George? Did well?
Ooh,
Courtney says it matches my eye colour. Maybe it does. It's a bit weird being in a shopping centre. It's been like...
look how dead it is. I told you it was a good time to come.
yeah, there's like nobody here at all. It's funny because when Courtney and I, when we walk past somewhere as a reflection, we did it yesterday, we like both like look across and we see our reflection and we're like, and she's like, oh, who's that fat pregnant lady? And I'm like, who's that cancer patient? We just like look completely different to how we always have looked. It's just funny. I've been battling for a couple of days to try and find all the essential oils that I wanted in an organic fashion, and it's been hard. Mainly myrrh. The essential oil myrrh, M-Y-R-R-H, that combined with frankincense is supposed to have some really good anti-cancer properties. So like I've said in the past, I just want to explore as many options as I can, externally, internally, therapeutically, so to make sure that I'm covering as many bases as I can. And what I decided to do, like I was saying, was making up some type of, I was going to make like a salve or a balm with like a shea butter, but then I don't really like the smell of shea butter, and I've made butters out of it before and I find it a bit greasy. So instead I just went for a straight serum basically, where I'm just using jojoba or jojoba or yoyoba, however the hell you want to say it. I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is and where. So I'm just going to say jojoba. That's like my base carrier oil. I'm going to put in a little bit of hemp seed oil as well. I've got a 30ml bottle, so it's about 2 tablespoons roughly, 2 full tablespoons, and I've done this at a 10% dilution. So in one bottle, because I've got 2 of these bottles, I'm doing jojoba, hemp seed oil, a tablespoon of each to make up the bottle basically, and for a 10% dilution that is 30 drops of each essential oil. So in one bottle I'm doing frankincense and myrrh, and then I'm also doing, if let's say for legal sake I was outside of Australia, 150 milligrams of CBD tincture in with it as well, but because I'm in Australia I'm not going to do that. And the other bottle is going to be exactly the same, so jojoba, hemp seed oil, and then there's going to be lemongrass and thyme, but I'm going to do that at 5% dilution because they're a little bit like more spicier oils. So if you've got, look, you know, the sensitive skin might be a bit more, it might be a bit more sensitive on my skin. And what I'm doing with either of those is basically rubbing it locally, because I have these nodes in this area here, down into here, and that are quite swollen, have a lot of inflammation with them, and they sort of come up and down between treatment. So I'm just going to be putting it on there topically, put it in behind my ears, a little bit down my spine, and on the soles of my feet when I sleep. So like I said, both of those, jojoba and hemp seed oil, one's frankincense and myrrh, one is lemongrass and thyme. So I'm still waiting on the thyme and the myrrh because everywhere I went I couldn't find it in certified organic. So I finally found it certified organic, waiting for it to come. And then, for argument's sake, if I was outside of Australia, 150 milligrams of CBD in each one as well, and get that on topically. So I'm just going to try that for the next couple of weeks. All of those oils have some really good anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. Frankincense and myrrh in particular have a lot to do with your programmed cell death and how they deal with cancerous cells. So hey, it's worth a shot. I've also been sort of diffusing some frankincense as well. So that is my approach with that on the essential oil side of it. The next video I'm going to do about hypnosis, because I've had quite a few people ask me what sort of process I'm going through with the hypnosis and how it's helping me. And it's really quite basic stuff, but it's been making me really calm. So it seems to be working a treat. It seems to be clearing my mind, and I feel like that's sort of just, it's making me feel a lot better. Like I feel a lot better. This is my 3rd round of chemo, and I feel a lot better this week than I did the first 2, so that's a really big plus. So next one will be on hypnosis, and then I've said before, I'll say it again, maybe doing the same video or a different one. I'm just going to run through some of the things I definitely feel I need to be taking, and that's in argument with oncology and natural medicine and the reasons why I'm taking those things. So, but the step this week is with essential oils, and we're going to give that a shot, and we'll see how we go.